Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kristen and today I'm going to be opening the February 2024 ink fight box. Let's dig in. Oh, nice. Ferris wheel press. Cool. Ooh, what's this? What's this? Okay, USPS sticker. Snail mail. Nice. Look at that. Wow, we got a Clairefontaine at Triomphe. Okay, we've got some French items. French notebooks and Canadian inks. Oh, okay. Everyone's favorite letter writing stationery is now available with the convenient sewn binding of an A5 sized notebook. And this Le Calepin Français metallic notebook, 10 by 15 centimeters, sized conveniently to accompany you on romantic encounters, walks through the countryside, or at the table of your local cafe. 60 dot grid pages, 70 GSM paper is suitable for fountain pens while being made of eco-friendly FSC paper and printed with vegetable inks. I love that seam. I love how they did that. That's cool. Oh, it's so nice and smooth. It feels good. So here we've got Ferris wheel press inks. To spark the passion for writing, we decided to return to our northerly neighbors for a new selection of Ferris wheel press inks. Made in Canada, each ink has a story that serves as its colorful inspiration. This month's flight is heavy on the shimmer, so be sure to practice proper pen hygiene when changing inks in your pens. Ooh, yes, they are definitely heavy on the shimmer. Okay, so I'm excited to try every single one of these. Ooh, these are so nice. It looks like a rainbow of inks. I'll be back for the swatches in a moment. All right, I am back and ready to swatch. It looks pretty cool inside the vial. The Riveting Pond. Part of the Fairy Tales collection, this misty light blue ink has green and pink shimmer. This is very, very, very light, very dry. Not unexpected. I feel like this is going to be a super long one just because of the fact that these are shimmery inks. Oof. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know how easy this is going to be for me with 7 shimmering Ferris wheel press inks that behave like this. It's making me nervous. That's on Tomorrow River paper. So I'm feeling it's actually going to be that light in a fountain pen. And your average fountain pen is probably going to be light just like this down here. This is Yamamoto bank paper. I feel like I can't really enjoy the ink color because I'm struggling so much with the behavior of the ink. This is actually the most pleasant that I've experienced so far. Just writing straight in the book. Let's see. So that's feathering quite a bit. This is feathering. This supposedly fountain pen friendly paper. Let's do the Clairefontaine Triomphe. Okay, great. I like that it lays flat though. So yeah, the Clairefontaine paper is holding up well. I'm not too crazy about this ink color. It looks really nice while it's wet, but the fact that it seems to be so problematic, I'm not too sure. I'm not sold at all on it. Okay, next we've got, it's golden color, plaited gold tress. It looks so fun in this vial. Plated gold or plaited gold tress, also Fairy Tales ink. This light yellow ink has brilliant gold and green shimmer. I actually kind of like this. That's not bad. This is definitely super pale. This is Cosmo Airlight paper and Midori paper. I really like this green shimmer and the Riveting Pond. Just wish I liked the ink color better. just falls off. This is Aerofil paper. Yamamoto bank paper. It just falls off the nib immediately. It is a pleasant color, but I would not write with it. I really hope that this is a pleasant one. Bumbling Blossom. This enchanting rose pink tells a fairy tale's story of transformation and wonder with its duochrome pink and chartreuse sparkle. It's another well-behaved ink, at least on the glass nib. I wonder if these are really meant for glass dip pens. Well, actually it works with my Sailor Hokuto nib, and it also works with the glass pen, but it does not work with a Kakimori dip nib. It's a vibrant red. So frustrating. These dry inks have no business being on bank paper. I don't know. I like that this reminds me of those salmony pink colors that I like so much, but it's still a bit too red for me. So far, I am underwhelmed by this month's Ink Flight box. This is the Sherry Sonata Warm Velvety Berry Toned Ink. Okay, so this one says nothing about shimmer, so maybe I'll like this a bit more. Maybe it will perform better. I'm hoping. The Sherry Sonata. Your writing will have a spellbinding effect with this warm, velvety, berry-toned ink. I'm feeling a little bit better about this one, but it does not mean that I like this color. I really like how this one behaves. I like how this one performs on the glass nib. Let's see if it will also perform well with other nibs. Oh. Ferris wheel press inks don't seem to like bank paper very much. It's a bit too slick for these dry inks. I like the Sherry Sonata on Tomoe River paper. It's looking really nice here. I prefer that over the cool salmony red Bumbling Blossom. But I wonder if I would like this ink by itself without these other colors sitting next to it. Still feels a bit dry. It doesn't feel like a problem. It's just that this is a relatively drier ink in comparison to some other brands like Diamond, but I kind of still like that color. Yeah, I feel like I can put this ink in a German or Italian pen that writes super wet and be pretty happy with it. I wonder what this looks like next to the Velvet Ballet. This might be a bit more purple. I'm feeling that I'm gonna prefer the non-shimmer inks this month, because these shimmers, they just stress me out too much. Hardy Harvest. Sounds great. This hardy amber butterscotch ink captures the embrace of family and cherished memories with radiant rose gold shimmer. It was a nice color, and I'd probably be pretty excited by the shimmer. I was assuming that there would be a gold shimmer in this ink, but this is, they say it's a rose gold shimmer. Ooh, it makes it look a little bit coppery. I like that. I feel like I need to write in cursive on Yamamoto bank paper so I can drag the ink along the page. I wonder if it darkens or if it's just the shimmer that makes the ink look a bit darker. I think I would like Hardy Harvest in a wetter, broader nib. I really like the look of Hardy Harvest. It's a really nice orange and it has this rose gold shimmer. It just makes it look so warm and inviting, but still not dark. I really like it. It's a shimmer. Cabernet on the Lake. This romantic, cozy Cabernet red evokes warm feelings of shared laughter and happiness. Seems to be maybe a bit more red than the previous color. What is that? The Sherry Sonata. I'm liking Hardy Harvest so far. This is a nightmare. Oh my gosh. Last, hopefully not least, their 2024 release. Dark and it coats the vial. Auroralis 2024. This luminous violet ink with duochrome pink and gold shimmer represents a world where art and technology harmonize to elevate creativity to a new level. This is so dark. Whoa, look at that. Okay, so sometimes it coats the vial, other times not so much. I'm kind of excited. I like how desaturated it looks here on Aerofil paper. It's almost gray. Look at that. This reminds me of Diamond Deck the Halls. Ooh, so thick. Thick and desaturated. I like that. I like it. All right, I am finally done with the swatches. I have to say that overall, I was very underwhelmed by this month's ink flight box. I had started to lose hope in finding an ink that I would enjoy. I really did not enjoy the writing experience or the swatching experience with the first 3 inks. And it only started to turn around with the 4th one, the Sherry Sonata. I really love the shimmer particles in every single one of these inks. I have some favorites, but I like the color of the shimmer in each of these first 3 inks. Like this green, I think it goes from like a silver to a green shimmer. Let me bring this one to you. This is Cosmo Airlight paper. And so looking at the Ribboning Pond, it has a green shimmer that sometimes looks silver or blue. And then the next one, it's a gold and green shimmer in the, is it plated or plaited gold tress? In Bumbling Blossom, there is a pink shimmer, which I really do enjoy here as well. There is no shimmer in the Sherry Sonata, and this is the only ink that has no shimmer in this month's ink flight. I like the reprieve that I got with this ink. It's a really nice color, very calming, down to Hardy Harvest. This was the first one where I was like, wow, okay, this is good. I'm glad, I'm happy. If I could just get one, maybe two inks that I enjoy from this month's ink flight box, I think it's a win. And then I come down here to Cabernet on the Lake. Sometimes I like it, sometimes not so much. I do enjoy the shimmer here. It seems that the shimmer is a little more red in Cabernet on the Lake than it is in Hardy Harvest, but it might also just be the color of the ink. They might have the same shimmer particles, but this one looks more red because of the ink color. Aurorealis 2024 ink is really nice. This is interesting because at some angles it looks purple and other angles it actually looks like it's the same shimmery ink that's in these particles. It's pretty fascinating. I like the shimmer and the ink colors in these last 3 inks. I really do like how my eyes got a rest and my nerves got a little bit of rest with this shimmerless ink color, the Sherry Sonata. Before I get to my favorites, let's take a look at these inks across papers because that might influence my decision. I'm just going to go ahead and cross out these top 3 with the Tomoe River paper and Irrefu paper, and in some aspects Cosmo Airlight paper as well. Bumbling Blossom is less saturated. It's the most desaturated on the first 2, Tomoe River and Irrefu papers. It's somewhere in the middle on Cosmo Airlight paper, and the Bank paper is the most vibrant along with Midori. So they're tied for, I guess, vibrancy. The Sherry Sonata, definitely less saturated on these 3 papers. There's more saturation here on Midori and the Bank papers. I think I prefer the color here, but of course I love the performance of basically all of these inks on these 3 papers. These 3 papers here, Tomoe River, Irrefu, and Cosmo Airlight paper, were the best papers to use for these relatively dry inks. I struggled the most on this Bank paper, this super smooth Bank paper that has basically just almost no texture for the ink to grab a hold of. The ink just either falls off the nib like this right here, or that right there, or it just dries out. It barely writes after it dumps all the ink off the nib. This was the most frustrating paper out of all 5, but the best ones, it was probably Irrefu paper. I did also enjoy it on Cosmo Airlight paper and Midori paper, but these just had a little bit more texture to these papers, and so with the shimmer ink I didn't enjoy it as much as I did on Irrefu paper. Okay, down to Hardy Harvest. I really enjoyed this ink color. I prefer the saturation of this ink on Bank paper and Midori paper, but I really do still like the color of the ink overall. What is that? I don't know what that is. Cabernet on the Lake is a really nice color. I love the shimmer here. The more I look at it, the less impressed I am with this color. Relatively speaking, this is absolutely leagues better than these first 3 for me, but I do enjoy 1 and 2 a lot more than this one. So this is a good ink color. I really love the shimmer, and it definitely performs much better than these first 3 inks. These are the driest of all 7, so I really did not enjoy very much these 3 inks. Ferris Wheel Press Aurorealis, the 2024 ink, or their ink of the year, is really nice. I like how it looks desaturated here on Tomoe River paper and Irrefu paper, and I also like how it is more saturated here on Midori and the Bank paper. Cosmo Airlight, again, is somewhere in the middle, maybe leaning more towards the desaturated side of things, but I really do enjoy this one. So I think this is probably my favorite ink color out of all 7. And then second place goes to Hardy Harvest. And third place probably goes to the Sherry Sonata, simply because there is no shimmer. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the old versus the new Tomoe River paper. There isn't really much of a huge difference between these two papers. I can't say that it was easier to write on this than it was on the old Tomoe River paper, because it could also be the fact that I've got stacks and stacks of paper back here. And so the cushion felt really nice whenever I wrote in the notebook versus on this thin paper right on this hard surface, hard textured surface as well. So I really enjoyed writing on a cushioned surface. Looking at the colors, I'd say they're pretty consistent. I cannot tell if there is a difference between this old Tomoe River paper and the new Tomoe River paper. Let me bring this over just a little bit better so that we can see this. Now it looks like, well, according to the viewfinder, it looks like these inks are less saturated on the old Tomoe River paper and they're slightly more vibrant on the new Tomoe River paper. Do these inks look the same to you? Because if I turn it this way, I'm trying to get them both to, like, there we go. So if I turn it towards the light like this, do these colors look the same to you or do they look different to you? Because here it looks like the new Tomoe River paper is more vibrant. But if I turn it this way towards the light, it seems that these colors are pretty comparable to each other. What do you think? The pooling is a bit different because basically the ink just fell towards the left since it's in a book. And it was much more even pooling across the swatch on this flat paper. All right, so that is it for the Tomoe River paper comparison. Let's see these swatch cards. See, these are so pretty. They're so pretty, but I would not want to write with any of them. So these are some gorgeous colors. I really love how they look on these swatch cards. It's just so neat and so vibrant and so lovely. But I'm just gonna move these out of the way because I'm not considering those at all. These are my top 4 favorites. Cabernet on the Lake, that shimmer looks so really nice. So very nice. This pink shimmer. I really enjoy the way that Hardy Harvest looks so warm and inviting with this rose gold shimmer. The Sherry Sonata is nice. I would not gravitate towards this or actively seek this ink color out for one of my pens, but I probably would gravitate towards one of these 3 inks. And my choice actually would not be based on like which one of these I like more, but it would be more along the lines of which pen would I prefer to use. And then I would match it up with one of these inks. I really like these. So it would be, I guess, first place because this behaved the best with all of my dip pens. I'm shocked about this being my second favorite ink color for the month because in the past I haven't liked orange inks very much. Third place would go to Cabernet on the Lake, which I still do like, but I wonder how close this is to, is it the Van Diemen's inks? So now I want to take a look at my coloring cards to see if I have any ink colors that are similar to these inks and these inks. Plated Gold Tress next to Rey Jaguar by Monarca. Rey Jaguar is less saturated, so it's more of a brown color. That shimmer in Rey Jaguar is much more subtle, much more fine. Pelican Edelstein, Golden Barrel, Troublemaker Mango, Octopus Fluids Orange, Colorverse Tangerine. Colorverse Tangerine is more orange. This one is even more difficult to work with than this Dry Ferris Wheel Press shimmery ink. Roaring Klinger Helianthus, which I would select any day over Ferris Wheel Press Plated Gold Tress. Helianthus is like one of those in-your-face yellow-orange inks. And the same thing with Van Diemen's European Honeybee Eater Chin. It is much more in your face. I do love the subtle color. Yeah, I like the subtle color of Plated Gold Tress, and it's more saturated than Don Juan by Colorverse. Hardy Harvest next to Diamond Bucks Fizz. Bucks Fizz is definitely a lighter, more vibrant orange. Hardy Harvest next to Vinta Inks Dameli, Paidor Shizuku Yu Yake. Diamond Celebration is more pink than Hardy Harvest. Oh, Dominant Industry Earl Grey Tea is deeper and more saturated. Ternishi Opera Rose. Diamond Fireside Snug next to Hardy Harvest. Actually, I like both of them, but I like that Hardy Harvest does not contain that yellowish undertone that I can sense just a little bit in Fireside Snug. I think Dominant Industry Maple has the same level of softness as Ferris Wheel Press Hardy Harvest, but they're slightly different. There's a bit more red or pink in Dominant Industry Maple. Waterman Audacious Red next to Bumbling Blossom. Absolutely pink next to this color. Diamine Cozy Up has more of a coral, salmon-y color. Robert Oster Sushi is warmer than Bumbling Blossom. Wistful Watermelon is also warmer than Bumbling Blossom. Diamine Tinsel is red. Bumbling Blossom is pink next to it. Pannonia Ink Laboratory P006 is very similar, but there's less saturation. There's a tad bit more gray in the Pannonia ink. Van Diemen's Tassie Salmon is softer, slightly warmer, but not by very much. Colorverse Alpha Scorpio Glistening is warmer. Robert Oster Old Book Smell is more red compared to the purple that's in Cabernet on the Lake. Diamine Cashmere Rose is very similar to Cabernet on the Lake. I like the fact that Cashmere Rose is a bit lighter and a bit more obviously pink. And I don't have to worry about shimmer. Pannonia Mosforos. It looks like it's more brown in the viewfinder, which it actually might be. Yeah, a little bit more like a reddish brown color. Cheetah Chase. Oh, okay. So the Cheetah Chase was the one that, yeah, I was comparing Cheetah Chase to Cabernet on the Lake in my mind. But of course, Cheetah Chase is absolutely orange. This is Graphon Faber-Castell Garnet Red. Cardona is more saturated and there's a sheen and shimmer. I was thinking that these two inks were very similar to each other. These are both by Ferris Wheel Press. So on the left, we've got the Velvet Ballet and on the right is the Sherry Sonata. The Velvet Ballet, yes, is a bit more brown and a deeper shade of almost the same color. The Sherry Sonata has just a tad bit more pink than brown in here, and there's no shimmer. Here is the Sherry Sonata next to Writer's Blood by Diamine. Here is the Sherry Sonata next to Robert Oster Napa. Very similar. Napa seems to be slightly more purple and a bit deeper in color as well. Noodler's Black Swan in Australian Roses. It's more purple, pretty similar in brightness. Here's Diamine Tranquility next to Auroralis 2024. Here we've got, Mad Half Hour, which is a lighter, more berry colored purple than Ferris Wheel Press Auroralis. This is such a deep, dark, and seemingly lubricated ink, or at least a wetter ink, and I'm excited to try it. I am excited to try this one. Ferris Wheel Press Grape Ice Pop. Another ink color that I sort of liked, but I was always thrown off by the packaging. Poussière de Lune by Jacobin. Théâtre Menace Aubergine. Diamine Deck the Halls. Look at that. They are so very similar. And I think that since I have Diamine Deck the Halls, I probably would not, well, I still have like the little 12 milliliter bottle from the 2022 Ink Vent calendar. I don't think I would seek out Ferris Wheel Press Aurealis because I have Deck the Halls. And I really enjoyed Deck the Halls. So I really feel like these two would behave pretty similarly, even though the shimmer looks to be different in the viewfinder. Like in the camera, the shimmer looks different, but in person, okay, maybe it's a little bit more pink in Deck the Halls, but it is barely different. And it seems like this shade of purple in Auroralis is slightly cooler. Colorverse Pillars of Creation is actually a purple ink, but that sheen is really blocking the color. So you can see it right there on the edge. All right, let's see what I can find in my blues. Before I get there are some that are slightly off, but still light. Diamine Bliss has more green, and the same with Monarca Marcaribe. Dominant Industry Horizon. It does have a shimmer, which is very difficult to capture. You can probably see it a little bit right there. I would definitely prefer Wayfarer over the Riveting Pond. Wayfarer has this purplish shimmer that sometimes looks blue depending on the lighting. Back here, we've got Vinta Inks Lakbai, and it's got a different shimmer color. Robert Oster Ocean. It seems to be more blue, slightly more saturated as well. You know, Troublemaker Inks Abalone. It looks more dull, but that's just because it's a chromal shading ink. So it's got this blue, it's got tealy green, it's got this pinky purple. Sailor Ink Studio 123. Here is Ferris Wheel Press, The Riveting Pond, next to Pilot Shizuku Amairo. Graphon Faber-Castell Gulf Blue is more blue. I forgot to show you these inks on Clairefontaine paper and the other French paper, Le Dit 15. I mean, it says that it is fountain pen friendly. I mean, there was no bleeding. There is definitely ghosting. And it looked like the paper was struggling a bit to try and keep it from bleeding through. I don't know if you can tell, but it looked like it was just a heartbeat away from bleeding through the paper. I would not write on both sides of this just because of the way that it looks here. I actually would not write on this with a fountain pen at all. because it really seems like there's bleeding, but along the fibers of the paper. It is much more rough. It makes my handwriting look hairy, like it is growing strands of hair. Let me check and see. I'm just going to use gel pen. I don't want to say that this is smooth paper. It's definitely textured paper, but it does look like it works well for gel pens and maybe a drier ink or maybe finer writing. So here with the wetter writing, there's definitely feathering. When my Kakimori dip nib was running out of ink, like these last few strokes on each of these ink colors, there's a minimal amount of feathering going on with the drier strokes because it's not really laying down that much ink. But with wetter pens, with wetter inks, wider nibs, there is going to be a lot of messy feathering. So I probably would not use this with a fountain pen, but it looks like it would work so very well with a gel pen or maybe a ballpoint pen or whatever you want to write with, or pencil or something. So that's that one. Here we go. Let's take a look at the Clairefontaine paper versus Midori paper. Both of these are cream papers and both show these inks so very well. All 7 inks look very nice and vibrant. So just by comparison, here is Tomoe River paper, and it looks less saturated across the board on the Tomoe River paper. So yeah, if I just lean it here, here's the Clairefontaine paper. This is Midori paper, and this is Tomoe River paper. So all 7 of these inks actually look less vibrant on Tomoe River paper. Yeah, I really love how the inks look on Clairefontaine and Midori paper. I think the appeal of Cabernet on the Lake is that it is almost, with this shimmer, it looks almost like Hardy Harvest. It's like a deeper version of Hardy Harvest. So if I could find a deeper version of Hardy Harvest, which I actually do have, it was that Van Diemen's ink. So I'll keep these 3 inks in my collection so that I can use them at some point in the year. These 4, I'm probably going to give away to pen pals. So hopefully others will be more happy with those inks than I am. I love these warm, deep colors. So either it's a soft color or it's a warm, inviting, very deep, rich color for me. So that is everything for this month's Ink Flight box. I hope you enjoyed watching me swatch and explore these inks. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Do you like lighter inks like this? What do you do with inks like this? I don't know. Tell me what you think about these 4 ink colors. Tell me what you think about my favorites for the month. And have you ever been underwhelmed by an Ink Flight box? I'm a little 50-50 here. I'm glad that I've got these 3 ink colors. So great job, Ferris Wheel Press, on these 3. I like this Clairefontaine notebook, so I'll definitely be using that one with fountain pens, and I'll be using this one without fountain pens. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.